Hello everyone, welcome to Black Arrow Gaming. I'm Bob, and this is the third episode in my second Age of Wonders 3 Advanced Strategy series. Definitely the Advanced Strategy series, not co-op. I did mess that up in episode 2, sorry about that. I am kind of just getting ready to continue moving along here. I had some notifications I had left up from the last episode in the middle of the turn, things I don't want to forget to do. One thing I did want to talk about before getting started is in this week's, since the last episode, the comments, DR Airship, I think it's, how do you pronounce it? DR, probably Dyer Airship. He did mention a very helpful comment, I thought, something that I hadn't really thought of. I'd been talking about trying to build a city right about here to get, actually right here was what I was looking at, to get the Stone Quarry, to get the Magic Library, to get the Forbidden Sanctum. These two in particular are very important to me to combine. But I was always talking about putting a city here to get boats from the Stone Quarry, putting them on the water, sailing them up the river, and getting them out to the ocean, which it looks like I can make that connection. However, he pointed out to me that it actually would make a lot more sense to make two separate cities for this purpose, because this city, if I put a city out here, I could actually place it on this tile instead, and I would get access to that dungeon and those haste berries. I'd get these growth melon things here a lot earlier. It'd probably be a better place to put that city, and then just have the ship city be entirely separate. I like that idea. I think I'm actually going to do that. I also actually have noticed another stone quarry over here, so I don't necessarily need this one, which is pretty much in the borders of the human city anyway. Might as well just let the humans have that one, and maybe look at putting a city like on the other side of that bridge or something like that. Also good for just taking on more land area, so I think that'd be great. I like that idea. He did point out, I did mention here that this city down here I thought would be a decent city. What I kind of meant was like an early game. Once I get it and the borders expand once, I get 20 extra gold. But yeah, I realized that overall, this is a pretty lousy second city as far as second cities go. But it's what the game gave me to work with, and I'm still gonna do the same thing with it either way. So what I had left up here, I already do know that Brittlebrush finished its migration. I know the halflings are unhappy. I touched on that in the last episode. This quest is what I didn't want to forget about, to raise that watchtower. I think I'm going to send my king's army out in that direction to do that, but at least that's what I was thinking. The problem here that I'm seeing is the reward is just a human cavalry, which is good. I could evolve it into a knight, but I'd almost rather just have the vassal proposal. The problem is that as long as this city has this quest active, I can't get that vassal proposal. So it might actually be better for me to decline this quest and then just buy the city to focus on expanding my empire and getting more territory, gold, whatever, faster. I don't know how much I can buy them for, but because the vassal proposal is not included in this deal, I'm actually going to decline this, and I'll focus on getting human cavalry later. I can make them a vassal, but I'm going to need another turn to get money, and that's fine. I don't mind spending the money on that if it gets me the city a few turns earlier. It's not going to be a fantastic city, but it does have a gold mine, so in about 20 turns it would make its money back for me, and there's a couple others nearby. Still, my king's army does have business to do out in this direction, so I am going to send them through to start clearing out a lot of those structures. But first, I was going to go after this, because I was going to get a hellhound on the next turn. I might have to delay that for a couple minutes, maybe clear some other structures. Oh yeah, I'd separated my flyer there. Send him back, and make sure they're all on the same tiles with the same healers. Want her to kind of help heal the flyer, because the flyer got pretty beat up. Other things that I noticed over here, there is another mana pile. Right now that seems like it'd be quite useful. Another thing that would be very useful is just clearing structures for gold. Right now I really need gold. In fact, my city out here is building a wooden wall. One more turn on that. And that'll be building a builder's hall for a while. 3 turns I'll need to buy that city, so in 2 turns this city will need production, or actually on the next turn once this one's finished. 3 turns, this one will be done, and ready to become a permanent part of my empire. I do have enough to go ahead and buy the humans now, and since I was planning on doing that, I'm just going to do that now. But the big thing that I need to do next is in this city, I need to try to get enough money to build a settler. The first settler is cheaper, and so I think I should be able to get it pretty easily. I just need to get a little bit more money in battles with my king on this turn to be able to afford it on the next turn. The trading post should get me plenty, so I'm probably going to go ahead and take that fight. It won't be an easy fight, but I do have the halfling theocrat now to help out, and her morale, despite the fact that the race happiness is unhappy, is very high for a number of other reasons. She does have, oh, she just leveled up. Well, that's convenient, right before a battle like this. I think in her case, she really just needs some stats. She's kind of pretty weak, so a little defense and a little health. Just to help keep her alive. I don't necessarily need to give her those army leading bonuses because she's going to be hanging out with my king for a little while yet. I think I can move them here actually because I'm going to try to hit this, hit that, and then get the haste berries and maybe go get that mana. If I can do this all in the right order, I should get quite a bit out of this. Have her launch the attack. It says very likely victory. I should be okay, but I do worry about that frost damage. I have to watch out for that. The nice thing in my case though is that the White Witches do half frost damage but also half fire, that castigate spell, so my Draconians are going to resist half of that damage and be weak to the other half, which kind of makes it maybe not as useful for the Frostlings, but I'm going to try to take advantage of that, I suppose. Her Bestow Iron Heart restores 15 health, and I want to make sure I make good use of that. I might wait. Well, that would give him 11. Close enough. Because I'm going to want her to be able to attack and not just use Bestow Iron Heart later in the battle. Alright, let's see if I can lure those Frostling Raiders. All my units over here and try to maybe use this rock as cover. Looks like they're going to go ahead and start moving their stuff around. Granting frozen flames all over the place. That's typically what they do. Actually, I kind of forgot about that, but that makes this a lot easier. They did immobilize my tigers, though. That's irritating. For a couple of turns, they're not really going to be a factor, but they've basically taken 3 of their units out of the battle for the moment, so it's not really going to be a huge problem. I think I should still be able to take advantage of this. I'm probably going to try to finish that raider with this unit. I'd like to see how much damage my hatchlings can do to it. 14 to 20, and then they'll do another up to 24, but probably not. It's going to actually take probably some hits from my king. Alright, and then I'll just have these guys finish them off pretty easily. And flyers could easily charge out there and kill them. I'm going to try to get them with these 2 units, but I don't think I'm going to have enough firepower. No, I'm definitely not. Although they did leave their guard down. Actually, maybe. Nope, not quite. So I'll have to send the flyer out. Fortunately, he's tough enough to handle a few things coming back and shooting at him. And they will. Okay, they got chilled, so they're going to take more damage. Flyers will take more damage now from frost attacks, 20% more, which brings their total frost weakness to 40%. I don't know that I'm ready to run out there and attack them. I want this guy to come running in and let his guard down. I would use my tigers for this normally, but they're immobilized at the moment. So I'm going to pull the flyer back to where he's got some cover, put the toughest unit I've got on the front line, have the others kind of hang back. In fact, I'm going to pull them back just a little more. So this guy comes running out at me, forcing the White Witches to move up and use some of their action points in the process. This all looks pretty good. And I'll just leave him back there. He's not even going to make it. The White Witch has moved in the way. That's okay. They've gotten close enough now that I can threaten them. My flyer can run out there and hit one of them. Should be able to take these guys now. Let's go ahead and let the halfling just light that group up. They've got that frozen flames. Gives them fire protection, which is a problem. But it's only on one unit. I'm going to be able to kill them anyway. And the unit's melee ranged attacks deal extra fire frost damage. So, fortunately for me, my tiger is back in the fight, although he can't really do much to those guys. Because of all that fire protection, I'm really not going to do that much damage to them with that unit either. I need to try to hit them with elemental attacks. It's that shield that's protecting them primarily. Can get a couple hits on them with my leader, which will allow the tiger to finish them off. Yeah, well, maybe. It's difficult to tell. I'm going to try for it. There we go. It's close enough. And that leaves the flyers, the raptors, and yeah, that leaves pretty much all these units free to go running out there and cause some serious trouble. Now this Frostling White Witch also has Frozen Flame, so it's going to resist that fire damage, and the Draconian Raptor does fire damage. So the Raptor's actually better off hitting this one, which does not have that fire resistance. And so is the Hatchling. The Flyer can go out here, and although it won't get a flank attack, it can threaten that White Witch. In fact, it should be able to do enough damage to keep from doing anything in retaliation. As long as I'm sure that I can kill this one, which I can. So the worst that thing could do is just smack me once. It's not going to be able to do anything. There we go. Battle wasn't quite as hard as I thought it would be. Alright, got some decent rewards for this. A lot of defense, plus the defender bonus. All very good. These are not bad items to get from a dungeon that was that easy to clear. I'll go ahead and give those to her for now. I might give my king one once she's back in the group. Alright, everyone should be able to make it down here and still get back to the haste berries, no problem. I will send the flyer out to launch this battle because we're on wetlands and that's slowing me down. Let's see if my king could use any of that gear she just picked up. I'll let her keep those iron greaves. I have to think of which one would be more likely to be sitting on defense. My king will actually probably always be acting, so I'll let her have the defender bonus one, and I'm going to give the greaves to my king. Alright, let's launch that attack. Just a handful of goblins, a sun guard, which you kind of always have to take seriously to some extent. But it shouldn't be that dangerous. Okay, those guys have let their guard down, but they're not in a very convenient position for me to attack them. Instead, I'm going to kind of circle around this direction, stay away from their other units, and focus on getting this guy healed. So he can be play more of an integral, important part in this battle. I'd like to tempt the skewers into attacking something. This is not technically a cavalry, so those pikeman type units won't do quite as much damage to it. I want to let it sit out here and try to lure them. And it does so successfully. It did get a critical hit on my tiger, or my tiger got one on them. I didn't quite notice. They did a lot of damage in retaliation. The flyers are the obvious unit of choice here. Definitely want to go after those sun guards with them, get that nice, powerful flank attack, and just get them out of the battle. The hatchlings would be a good option for killing the goblin skewers. Get them that extra XP. And then the rest of the battle is pretty self-explanatory. This gets me a little bit of money. And a boar. Take that reward. And actually already have enough to build the settler now on the next turn, so doing well in terms of money here. I'm collecting quite a bit. It's tempting for me now to just run down and clear these two ruins while I'm here. This is starting to look like a good spot to put another city, maybe out on this side. It is a little close to the snow for Draconians. But I think that later on in the game, I don't really want to spend the time to run down there through the wetlands right now. It'd be easier for me to get a group of flyers over there later in the game to clear those off. I won't be putting a city out here for a while since I'm more focused on these two spots up in this direction. So with that all being said, I'll send the boar back to join my dwarf army that I was kind of building over there, and let these units continue to do their thing. Grab the haste berries, then come over here and just continue. It put one of my leaders in the game. Santa Claus. I have met Santa Claus. This is one of the leaders I created. I didn't realize I had it set to put my leaders in the game, but that's kind of funny. I'm the Draconians and my neighbor is Santa Claus. I don't know that we're going to get along very well, but alright. Still going to try to get the orcs first, I think, just because they're behind me. Although, depending on what kind of units they have... I want to look at my diplomacy here. I would really like to just take out both of them, but I don't know if that's going to be an option. He's got a negative alignment. No, orcs have slightly negative. We don't really have any relationship with each other. Neither of us do yet, so pretty much a blank slate. I don't know. The orc seems to have a more aggressive personality, but I don't know what Santa's is, because he's a leader that I made. Well, I am going to try to grab some of his stuff before he has a chance to pick it up. Stealing from Santa. Do I want to do No Mercy? Forget kind of what I was going for. Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. Because I'm Shadowborn. Duh. I'm so used to playing a neutral character that you kind of have to balance those things. Alright, just a handful of dwarves here. Shouldn't be an issue. Tigers are desperately in need of healing, so I'll prioritize that first. Now, they are going to use defensive strike on me. So I'm just going to have to deal with that and overwhelm them probably with magical firepower. But let's see if I can... Since they are going to use defensive strike, there's not really any reason for me to try to lure them with anything. Hopefully, if I'm lucky, they'll both try to run, because you can't go on that tile right there. That seems... Well, no, yeah, you can. And they can too. It's just kind of hidden by the flowers. So I'll kind of hold my units here and just plan to blast them with as much magic as I can. I want to send at least one out to go deal with the crossbowmen, and these raptors should do quite nicely. Actually, in this case, the raptors do fire damage. I might need them against the dwarves. I'll send the flyers out that way. At this point, it's not so much about the tricks to winning the battle, it's more about making sure that you win the battles as efficiently as possible, taking as little damage as possible. Even more importantly is the whole idea of making sure that your magic, or that your XP is getting distributed efficiently. And on that note, because these dwarves are kind of far away, I'm going to let this group run in. I'll let the hatchlings get the XP for this kill. And I am going to have to probably guard their flank. I'll let the tigers do that. Sometimes your heroes can be tempting targets for them, so I am going to leave them here. Because I wouldn't mind if he attacked my hero instead of the hatchling, but he did go after the hatchling, which is not necessarily surprising. So at that point I might have to just overwhelm him with raw firepower. This guy shouldn't be a problem to take out the old-fashioned way here. Of course, I'm not getting a flank attack, but I am getting the charge bonus. Should be able to kill him in 2 hits, probably. Nope, I got low rolled a little bit there, unfortunately. I'll have to use a different unit to deal with that, because I need to get these guys off of my hatchling. Get to my king a level, which is nice. The hatchlings do have spit, actually, so I could just take them out with hatchlings and use the tigers to finish off the other one. I'm gonna let these guys back up and get just a single hit. They might, actually they'll probably kill him. Yeah, that overwhelm will do the trick. Oh well, that frees up the hatchling to get a little more XP off of this guy. He did level up again. He's probably 1 or 2 promotions away from being gold rank and evolving. Oh, he did evolve. He evolved into a flamer. It's not the worst thing you could get. It's not my favorite either. I'd have preferred, well, obviously much preferred a flyer, but flamer's not bad. It does give me some a decent ranged option, better than the fire spit that they had. I'm gonna run over here and check this all out. Now that's not, obviously not his capital, but his capital can't be that far. I would like to go into this dungeon. I'm a little tempted to, but my army is kind of beat up right now, so I'm going to give them a turn to heal, and instead just grab the mana, and then on the next turn see what's in this inn down here. And then once I get that mana, I'll go back, get the library, maybe get the quarry, and then head out here for all this stuff. Just have my king's army do a lot of fighting and focus on leveling up and getting gold and clearing structures. Okay, so magical structures researched, which is vastly improving the amount of mana that I'm going to be able to pull in. At this point, the next thing... Oh, hey, Starblades is available now. Yeah, like I talked about in the last episode, I think that's going to be worth getting. Target friendly unit gets +1 fire, frost, shock, strength until the end of combat, and inflicts shocking. Yeah, that's a pretty nice combination of effects for a draconian flyer. Yeah, so I think I'm going to try to take advantage of that. My king did upgrade again. Don't need a magical being yet, although that's probably one I will get at some point. For the time being, probably focus more on his resistance. Get that up a little bit, bump his health up a little bit more. Just kind of overall stats for the time being. There are some other things I will get eventually, like inflict stun, which is amazing, but for the time being, I'm just going to have him do that. I think I wanted to explore a little further with this Hellhound just to make sure that this all connects to the ocean, because if it doesn't, that's going to definitely change my thoughts about where I'm building my Navy city. He can get surprisingly close. Ooh, the orcs have another settler up here. It's actually... It looks like it probably does. It's just such a long, narrow river, and I'm probably going to have to colonize the whole thing. On that note, because I've got to kind of control this area if I'm planning on using this as a shipping route, I think the orcs are definitely going to have to be the target, and I'm going to have to play nice with the frostlings for now. Just geographically, that's probably what I'm going to have to do. Hey, I just realized that those lost souls aren't following my hatchling anymore. That's nice. It's actually kind of too bad because I was hoping to lure them back to the city so that they would get killed, but that's alright. Send the hatchlings back. The tiger was going back, so I will have a decent army for this dwarf warlord to lead here pretty soon. For now, gonna have them all go to the city, and then I'll maybe go after that bandit camp with them. Oh, actually, that bandit camp's gone, right? Okay. Forge an alliance. So yeah, gonna play nice with the frostlings, try to make friends with them for the time being anyway. Alright, I do get to summon a hellhound on this turn. I may put that with my other... Yeah, I think I'm going to put that with my Dwarf Warlord's army. And then maybe start looking at what other global spells I can cast. I might have some other options at this point. Although I have spent most of my time researching magical structures, but having that extra +3 mana on all the structures in my territory is really, really nice. And this city should grow a little bit soon, so it'll get the farm, get extra growth, and get more mana. Oh, bandits. Just saw them moving over here. My dwarf might be able to do something about that, but I need to find out where they... Oh, they're right there. There's 3 of them. I can get my dwarf and a tiger out there, plus the boar. Should be able to manage that. These other 2 units are definitely not going to be able to move far enough. So I'll pick those units with forestry and deal with them. Alright, let's do that actually before I forget. Because I have a tendency to do that in this game. Scoundrels aren't tough at all, but not going to take any chances here and bring that extra boar in since it's conveniently right there. I could actually, if I'm planning on having the Hellhound stick around with these guys, I could actually summon that with the dwarf now too, since the casting's ready. Just want to make sure I don't need it in this army for some reason, and probably not. Both armies have a tiger, and I'll just leave the tiger where it is. I don't particularly think they're that great, but maybe I can get a druid, combine it with inflict bleeding wounds at some point. Anyway, this seems like a reasonable time to summon that hellhound. I can select my next research, and I'm gonna wanna... Oh no, I'm selecting my next spell, right? Don't need Dread Omen yet, and I don't think I have... No, there's no mana nodes that I can convert into fire yet. That's something I'd really like to find, but there's really just nothing around me, so that mana conversion spell is not going to do me really any good this game, as far as I can tell. Well, on that note, the only thing that makes sense to do is just to keep summoning these hellhounds in the absence of casting other spells. Oh, it's got all its movement back, so I'll go ahead and launch this battle. Get rid of these guys. Alright, they're woefully outmatched here. I don't think I need to bother casting spells. Although I would prefer to do this without losing any units, so I'm going to let them come a bit closer. And they will. They'll get within that 3-tile range. This opens them up to a lot easier flank attacks. Ouch, they did a... Ooh, they're bleeding. The tigers have 1 health left. I prefer to try to save them if I can, but they may have to retreat from this battle. That depends on how much damage I can do with my other units. The Warlord is easily going to be able to take out something, but I don't know for sure what. The way that they're angled makes this very inconvenient. The Tiger could turn any of them around for a flank attack. The Warlord could just outright massacre the Goblin with Warcry. Tigers are going to have to run. I don't want to risk losing them. They're almost out of movement points anyway, so they'll just catch back up with everybody at the next battle. In the meantime, these guys are going to have some explaining to do for what they've done to my poor tigers. Just going to go outright, just destroy them with Warcry and martial arts. The boar here cannot quite flank them like I had hoped it could. I think the best option is to just attack. These guys don't do much damage in retaliation. And they're going to sprint and flank me anyway, so... I can probably take these guys out. Yeah, they tried to kill that boar. The boar is now bleeding too. That's why I'm glad I brought that extra unit into the battle. Now, nothing can really flank them, but Dwarf still has martial arts. They're not going to do much of any damage in retaliation. Martial arts is amazing. Especially against weaker units like that. Alright, so everyone's still alive. I'll just keep the 4 of them together for now. Okay, skill 2 research. Dispel is always useful, but I'm really itching to get those Phantasm Warriors. I still need Embrace Darkness, though. The Shadowborn's spell that gives units summoned in the city with it life-stealing. That is a strategic spell. I might just research Seed of Distrust, because I'm going to want that before I start summoning massive amounts of Phantasm Warriors. I'm going to try to get that first. So I'm going to get Seed of Distrust, just because it's kind of in those same line of strategic spells for Shadowborn, and I just want to... I need to get that as fast as I can. I would love it if my... what are they? The Hellhounds had that too. That'd be really nice. Alright, well... This tile is not going to give... I'm going to give this to the Flyer. Let him go in there, because with his flying ability, he'll catch up to everybody else pretty easily. Goblin Swarm Darters, one of the best tier 1 units in the game. In my opinion, these guys are possibly the best ranged unit in the game, aside from like Elf Longbowmen or Elf Hunters, the best tier 1 range unit. They're incredibly... Mosquito Darts is incredibly useful. The only problem is, look at their stats. 27 health, 7 defense. These guys are also possibly one of the weakest units in the game. In fact, I think my Raptors could probably kill them in one hit. Most likely. In fact, that might be what I try to do with them here. Blight Doctors have let their guard down, which gives me a great opportunity to flank them, and I'm going to go ahead and do that now. And that just takes them out right away. The Wargrider has that charge ability. I think I'd rather get the charge in on him, if I can. Let me use the Firebomb from these guys. Hit these two. Well, that basically guarantees that these goblins are not going to be doing anything useful. Since they're the only unit he can reach, it makes sense to go after them. Kobolds are going to die very easily. I'm going to pretty much just ignore them as long as I stay out of their range. I kind of want to send my king charging in after that Wargrider. I don't necessarily want to risk the damage, but maybe if I give my king strong will, he'll be able to handle that a little better. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Give my king strong will and let him do a little bit of melee fighting here. Ironheart, rather. That reduces the damage a little bit, and makes sure that I'm the one getting the charge bonus and not him. Another path with the tigers. Okay, that worked out fine. Let my goblin get the finishing move there. Flyers can probably just outright kill these untouchables. Yep. Alright, hopefully there's a useful unit for me to buy in this inn with all my new gold. I do want to remember that, ooh, there's an elf longbowman in there. I wouldn't mind having that. Elves don't do that well in volcanic or temperate climates, though, so I would want to kind of keep him with an army on more fertile area. There's the shredder. You know, I don't know if I need to worry about that so much. The elf longbowmen are good for so many other reasons that they'd still be worth it either way. Let's go ahead and buy the settler first, or start producing the settler, just to make sure I have enough money. And I am 2 gold short of being able to buy that longbowman. Pretty sure I could get that from something. Probably this quarry. And my units can reach it, so I'll go ahead and grab that. I am clearing this for Santa, but maybe he'll bring me nice gifts this year. Alright. Let's get rid of these guys. Now, my king did take a beating in that last battle. He's not really built for being a melee fighter, so I want to heal him up. And if there's one thing I know about these dang Tigrans, they will always find a way to hit a ton of units with that sun disk. So I'm going to try to really stagger them in a way that would make that difficult. There's not really a whole lot of straight lines in a formation like this. Nobody's lined up except for these two, and yeah, I don't think anybody else is lined up. Now I'm gonna resist the fire damage anyway, but here he comes. And he only hit 1. Which is fine with me. I'll probably just get that Tigran out of here. Okay, flyers are definitely in trouble, and many of my other units are a little too far away to help a whole lot. At least the Raptor has that charge. I'm going to try to get these guys off of the flyer, and I might just hit the flyer with this. I don't know. Flyer's still got a lot of movement. I'd like to get him as far away from that Sphinx as I can. Same thing with the Tiger. Won't be able to use Sun Disk for another turn, so that gives me a chance to shoot a lot of these things off of him. I'm wondering how much damage my king will do to those guys. I would like to actually move up and hit them from here, but I'm afraid to keep my king that close to the flyer, especially with those shredders nearby. That's kind of risky. That Manticore Rider also has enough melee attack strength that it could be a problem for the Draconian Flamer if it got a flank attack on it. But from here, yeah, I'm going to intentionally hit my own unit here just because my fire resistance and projectile resistance make it kind of a non-issue for me. That does enough damage to their cheetahs that I think my king and my halfling might be able to do the rest. The flyers may just have to take a hit from the cheetah on their way out of there. Which is going to use one of the cheetah's action points at the very least. Alright, feel a little better about this. Units are probably almost out of movement, so I'm going to get the Tiger out of here. That way the Sphinx doesn't go after it, being annoying. Actually, the tiger would be fine in this spot for now. The Sphinx can flank either of these, my two main heroes, and my king is still a little beat up. I'm kind of worried about that. But there's not a whole lot I can do. I think the king will be okay. The problem is that I'm leaving those cheetahs alive if I do this, and they could potentially be a problem too. But if I put my raptor up here, they can't pounce again. If I put my raptor up in this area, I could prevent them from really reaching my king or doing much damage to him. They would at least take an attack of opportunity on the way by. And the flyer's still got 50 health. It's more than what it looks like because of the little red bar. So I think I'm going to pull the flyers back and actually kind of help them guard my king a little bit. At the very least, get in the way of those cheetahs. They did take 10 damage, so they're down to 40 now. That does make me reconsider. You know what? I'm getting the flyers out of there. I don't want to risk it. There's too many things with the Sphinx, the cheetahs, and the shredders. Too many things that could hit them that I'm not comfortable with. Now, if they come this way, either way, they're going to hit my king and do some damage, so I'm just going to put these guys here, so they're kind of in the middle of everything. Maybe guard him a bit from the shredders. Actually, from this spot, it'd be a better guard from the shredders. Oh, they're just going to go after the flamers instead. Well, that's good. I was worried about everybody ganging up on my king like computers often do. Just all going after one unit. Did notice these flyers are bleeding, so I'll have to watch that. But I should be able to finish this battle on this turn now. Question is, who wants to get the kill? It's a pretty easy choice here. I want to get that unit with the tiger, since the tiger is one of my weaker units, and then start flanking the living daylights out of this Sphinx. Actually, I think I'll have my flyer go out here and just kill those shredders. Single hit. They've got killing momentum now, they're gold medal rank, but I'm actually going to use that to get away from the cheetah. One of the best things about killing momentum is that you can attack and then go back onto defense too. Alright, then my king does some damage. He's got spirit protection, and he's preventing either of these units from... Oh no, just her. Alright, I want to flank him from the straight other side. There we go. Turn him around, get him off of her, so she can go back. Won't do a lot of damage, but it should be enough. There we go. Just enough to end the battle. Tigrans put up a fight there. Okay, my army is just all sorts of beat up. But I did get a pretty good item. Inflict enfeebling fever and exhausting fatigue. Some very negative, a lot of negative morale penalties. Negative penalties in general. Strength weakness, defense weakness. Also a natural club. Take these rewards. Probably will give that club to my dwarf unless he's got a better... Unless he's got a better melee weapon. And he does not. So I'm going to send that club to him. This I don't mind having on like a range unit, because those effects apply to the range units as well. So I'm going to give that to my king for now. I'll have her pick it up and then give it to him on the next turn. Or when they're back together. Alright, drop that, give it to my king, and then he'll be able to kind of really ruin somebody's morale just by simply attacking them with range attacks. It's very nice to have those effects on a necromancer, like I was playing in the last game, because of the ability to benefit from inflict despair, or exploit despair, rather. I don't know what to get her at this point. I mean, Undead Slayer would be nice if I was fighting undead, but there don't seem to be very many of them around here. I think I'm just going to grab some more health. Grab some more health and maybe a little resistance. Bump up our defenses overall. And then my King's Army can finally start heading back this direction. I never did get that longbowman, even though now I have enough money for it. But if I remember to, I'm going to send my flyer over there on the next turn and grab that. The warg should be able to... Oh, the orcs are building a city out here. That's worth remembering. It's looking like this is ocean out here. I'm going to explore a little further to make sure, but... Yeah, that's got to be the ocean. So that's good. That just kind of solidifies the fate of the orcs. They're going to have to be conquered. And then I think the best thing would be for this Hellhound to head back. It's explored enough, and I don't want to get greedy and get it killed. Although with those hasteberries there, on its way back, it may as well go on the other side of the river. That's worth considering. On the next turn, I'll be able to buy this city, and I'll have that human city to work with too. That's 5 turns away, though. I'm going to say, let me know when you're ready to talk, and make sure this city also has that box checked. There we go. Alright, so if I can remember to on the next turn, I'm going to try to go in there and buy that longbowman. I think that'd be a nice range unit to have. I don't know. I'll actually have to think about that, because there's a lot of other things I could be spending my money on. At least I've got that settler on the way. Alright, well I think that wraps this one up. Coming up on about 50 minutes here, so I'm going to go ahead and finish this episode off here. Overall, fairly good position. Frostlings are kind of close, but I do have a little bit of a buffer zone here, and I think I can play nice with them while I go after the orcs. They probably haven't even met the orcs, so if I declare war on them, they're not even going to know that I'm at war with anyone. The only problem is pulling my armies away from the front line, but I suppose that's why I have 2 groups. My King's group may be powerful enough to take on the orcs by itself with just a little bit of extra reinforcements, but before I do that, I kind of want to get my Phantasm Warrior production going. Anyway, though, I think we're off to a decent start here. Could ask for maybe some better territory, but I'm looking forward to getting cities out in these locations. Those are going to be pretty good cities. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I will see you in the next episode.